when we think about the real problem that we have with China, it's two things. The first one is they spend as much on education as we spend on our military. Yeah. That's why you have videos all over TikTok of these 6-year-olds who basically know home economics, who know exactly how to run a kitchen at 6 years old. And what the hell do we know how to do at 6? Swing a T-ball bat? That's about it. That's how bad, that's how far behind we are. And they want to block that from American viewpoint. But why block it? What we should be doing is competing with China. But instead, credit to Jen First, who sent this to me earlier this afternoon. Guy's name is Jintas Tuska, clearly not from this country. Credit to him for putting this video together and explaining why we have a China problem.
The US simply cannot keep up with China any longer. China's bullet trains connect every major city with over 23,000 miles of track laid in just 15 years.
15 years, and you laid 23,000, over 30,000 kilometers of high-speed rail has been laid in the second most populous nation on earth?
Let it play. Just let it play, 'cause it's short.
Meanwhile, America's fastest train would lose to a 1960 sport car. Why is there such a massive difference? Well, China builds for the people, while America builds for profit. In China, the government owns the tracks, the trains, and even the banks that fund them. There's no boardrooms demanding dividends. It's just engineers solving problems like they should. In America, a pothole takes 3 summers to fix, and a new subway line costs more than NASA's Mars rovers. So how did they get to this point? Well, while 6 different companies fight over contracts, commuters are forced to wait. While on the other hand, last year, China constructed more high-rises than exist in all of Chicago. They assembled a hospital for 1,000 patients in just 10 days. Meanwhile, New York's 2nd Avenue subway took nearly a century to complete. It's not about being a communist or capitalist, it's about priorities. China invests in steel and concrete, and America is busy investing in stock buybacks.
I mean, if that's not the most important point, that's it. The fact that, and here's something that I mentioned to Jen the other day, and I'll mention to you. The worst president domestically in our respective lifetimes is definitely Clinton. It's not even close. But what I find interesting about the things that took place during Reagan's presidency, and he had such a worse second term than he did a first term, but doing the things that he did in his second term, the stock buybacks, the reduction of the top marginal tax rate, the removal of I'm forgetting the name of it right now, the doctrine that basically allowed for the consolidation of the radio media companies, the fairness doctrine, when that was repealed in 1987, that set the stage for all of the policies that would take place during the Clinton administration that ultimately we are dealing with today. The removal of Glass-Steagall, normal trade relations with China, the crime bill, the Telecom Act, and of course, NAFTA. And I joke about this, but in reality, here's the problem. We have had a generation since all of these horrific policies have been passed. There hasn't been a single president over the course of that time. There hasn't been a single administration that has said, maybe we should reinstate Glass-Steagall. How was Glass-Steagall not re-implemented after 2008? How do you not put that back in? Instead, you get Dodd-Frank. How is it that the American people think that that's acceptable? Could you imagine, for whether it's China, France, almost any other place, you think they would put up with this shit? To literally have their homes stolen from them? You know, we've had Graham Elwood on our show. He had a very nice home in Los Angeles, and he got it stolen from him. And even to this day, I think about the fact that he's never been properly, justly compensated for what happened to him. When people talk about For example, you want to talk about reparations. How about the fact that it has been proven beyond a doubt that during the Vietnam War, when we all know the whole purpose was to get, the opium to sell heroin in the United States, that was the whole point of Laos and Cambodia as well. So you bring the narcotics back to the States. Where do they traffic them? They traffic them in communities that, frankly, were not doing too bad at the time. But you start doing that and you completely destroy those communities for generations. How about repairing the damage you did in those cities? To me, that's what I would be talking about that all the time. And yet we never do retribution for the things that were done yesteryear. There is no amending of any of it. Bush does the tax cuts. Obama makes them permanent. Trump does the tax cuts, Biden makes them permanent. Trump does another tax cut, whoever the hell the Democrats are going to put in, let's say it's Newsom and Whitmer, they'll do the same damn thing. Nothing's changing until the people recognize that the change is going to come in a different way. It's not going to come.
But here's the thing. Do you prefer it with Sam Cooke or Otis Redding? That's one of those debates that Reese and I have. Because if I'm going to hear a change is going to come, I have to know, do you want to hear Otis or do you want to hear Sam? You look confused. You look confused. Reese and I are with Otis, but hey, it's a personal preference.
Jamal, you want to take
the change I want?
I don't know the answer.
I don't know. I'm lost on this one. What's the difference between the Sam Cooke and Otis Redding one? I mean, what is it? Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time.
No, the change is going to come is they both do that song. And they both have versions of that song. And, I prefer Otis, but Sam Cooke is Sam Cooke. I mean, it's not like that. It's not like, you're going to kick it out of bed for eating crackers, right?
I guess I'm saying, are they singing it in dramatically different ways where it will make a difference in which one you choose?
Well, to me, Otis is grittier.
I see.
Otis is grittier. Sam is smooth. Sam's more like, it's like creamy and crunchy. You know what I mean?
There's the song by Lauryn Hill that I'm trying to find the name of it, where she's doing it on stage and it is fantastic. And it is like a call to revolution in a way that shocked the hell out of me coming out of Lauryn Hill. And her live performances are very gritty. They're exceptional. It's not.
I'll have to check it out. I like that.
I need to find the name of it just so people know. But look, I agree with everything you're saying with this. We are a capitalist country, and people shouldn't forget that. Meaning, it's like a fish in water. When they tell you we're a democracy, we believe in freedom, we believe in all that stuff. Freedom for who? To do what? And if you have means and you have cash, then you are pretty free. If you don't, then your freedom is very constrained. And so they don't necessarily elucidate that part. They deal more with we're free. We're a free society. We can do whatever we want. You want healthcare? You can pay for it. If you can't pay for it, oh, well, I'm sorry. You're free to die on the street without healthcare. I'm saying China is a fundamentally different country in the way that they look at these problems, as opposed to a capitalist country that has constraints in the way that they look at any issue, and the constraint being, we need to make as much money as possible. Is it for the public good? We need to make as much money as possible. So no, we can't build high-speed rail in this country. No, we can't build a hospital in 10, 15 days. No, the amount of railroads, hell, even in Europe, like high-speed rail, we don't have in America because their issue is profit. That's what it boils down to. If you have a country that is less concerned with the amount of profit that you get and more concerned about public well-being, then you would have more nice things. And it's not that China is perfect. That's not really the argument that I'm making. I'm making the argument that they're competent in a way that we just aren't. And it's unfortunate. Yeah, I think that's right. And by the way, the issue with China is not that it's competent. The issue with China from the US point of view is that it exists in and of itself. Just like the same issue with Russia, it exists. Same issue with Iran, it exists. These countries are not necessarily under our hegemonic control in the way that we want. And in order to have world supremacy, which is the point, domination, they need to leave. And China, with a country of 1.3 billion people, an industrial base that even outstripes us when we were back in the Second World War, from our point of view, the very existence is a threat to our hegemony because that horse is out the barn. And we've been trying to pivot to China going back, God, Jesus, all the way back for 20 years. But we kept getting bogged down in one war after the next, because again, these hegemonic wars with the thought of being we can take down governments and control the space of those governments. Okay, we succeeded in Syria and Libya and Iraq and Afghanistan. Russia is not Iraq. Russia is not Iraq. I often say racist people don't see the board clearly. And
well, they
what I
don't.
mean-
It's all the same to them. Like
Yes.
this is. I did a little thing where I read a few things about Iran just because people are just oblivious as to like what that is.
Yeah.
The difference between Iran and Iraq is day and night. Like people, I think, oh, they're all the same. No,
No,
Iraq.
they're radically different.
Iraq is a made up. The white people made that up. Iran is a centuries old people and culture that is back like as China and India are.
It's a
And the
civilization.
caucasity, it really is. This is the caucasity that we somehow think that we're going to put them in their place is absurd.
Well, it's always easy to say that when you're not the ones actually doing the fighting. We'll finish this out.
Now you
Yes.
can watch in real time as one nation speeds ahead in electric vehicles and clean energy, while the other bickers whether trains are socialist or
Yeah, he's right. He's right. Everything he's saying is right.
It's priorities. And I'm not saying China is by no means like gets a get out of jail free card for shit that it does. I mean, you know, I know that what they're doing in Africa isn't all on the up and up. I'm not like some pro China, you know, I'm not pro any country. I think they all kind of suck. But the point is they are not our enemy. They are not the bad guy. They are not the cause of our problems. We are the cause of our problems and most other people's on the planet.
Yeah, I don't need to qualify my statements with China. They are, every government has issues, right?
Yes.
But if you bring out 800 million people out of poverty, I'm going to say you're doing something right.
Yes.
If you're able to have a competent government with an overwhelming majority of the public say, hey, we agree with this. We agree that they're building roads, they're getting people out of things, they're building housing, they're building, et cetera. Then yeah, you're going to get my accolades as good job. I don't need to when I'm covering world politics, I'm covering it from the perspective that the United States is taking provocative action against various governments, regardless of the internal structure of those governments. Internal structure matters less to me than the fact that we're trying to do stuff to overthrow it for our own ends. And the same thing is true with China. Yeah, resources is the other issue. Control is the other issue, right? Like banks want the hands-on products. The government wants control. Those things dovetail. So I don't feel the need to qualify it. I understand what you mean. Like it's like
I just mean it's like, and I don't need to qualify it. Like I don't care because again, let's say I was a communist Chinese party member or whatever. That's still irrelevant to the point of what they're doing right and what they're not doing right and what they do that helps people and what they don't. So I don't say it like that. I just don't say it like I'm under any delusion that some country has it all going on.
Yes, they're not utopia. Yeah, they're not
Correct.
utopia. I mean, they're going after the Dalai Lama now. They're like, we need to just agree upon who the Dalai Lama comes back and reincarnates. It's like, dude, get
They
that
have
out of here.
human rights issues there. I mean, it's, you know, they have their shit, but what they don't is try to dominate the world. And again, they've been around so much. It's so hilarious that we come up and we're like telling everybody what's what. They'll be here long after we're gone.